Let's talk about Cannondale's mountain bike asymmetric integration. This AI system came out in about 2016 with I think it was the FSI. And a lot of people misunderstand it, and they get in a lot of trouble when they're trying to swap in a power meter, chain rings, another crankset, replacing that with another crankset. This system is very peculiar, and it is only Cannondale. Once again, this only covers mountain bikes. Road bike AI is actually yet another different thing. Drawing your attention to this, what it really means is they moved the hub over 3 millimeters off the center line of the bike. So they shifted the entire drivetrain over 3 millimeters that direction. Okay, and then this is the center line of the frame and rim. So you notice what they had to do is they actually had to bring the rim back this way in the bike, which allowed them to use the same length spokes on the drive side and non-drive side. Basically, it's laced up just like a front wheel. It adds a lot of stiffness back here, and what it also allowed them to do is make the chain stays very short, okay, which improves the handling. Okay, that's their book. That's what they said. All right, what does this really mean to you? Well, what it means to you is there's not a lot of things that are going to be compatible with this. Now, of course, the original SI crank is always going to work because it was made to do that, but also there are dub versions. If you want to put a dub crank in here, you can, but it has to be Dub AI. And let's take a look at the chart, shall we? Dub AI is right here. You'll see that it has the same chain line as regular dub wide at 55. The hubs are the same. It's still that 148 boost, but the chainring offset goes to 6. Okay? Now, don't let that mess with your head, because it might. Because if you look at this other one here, it says, oh, wait a minute, there's a 6 millimeter offset built into it. There is no correlation, really, between that chainring, the chainring offset, and any of this other stuff we were talking about. This is where people get very confused, because they see a correlation because it's a 6 and a 6, and they, oh, there's something. No. In case you guys don't know, offset just means the higher the number, the closer it is to the bike, positive number. And the negative number, if it ever goes negative, that means it's actually kind of coming out. So positive is toward the frame. So that means they see this dish, see that dish that's in there right there, instead of that like flat look you're used to seeing on most chain rings. Okay, that's only part of the story, because the other half of the story is this crank. This spindle is a lot longer than a standard like dub like SL crank, which would be 113 millimeters. This one's closer to a Super Boost Plus length. It's only 2 millimeters short from being Super Boost Plus. So this thing is a strange animal. All right. So what they're doing is they're bringing the crank arms, they're bringing the spindle and everything, and the crank arms and the Q factor really far out, and then they're having to take the chainring to bring it back in enough so that it can work with this system. So you realize what that means right away. It might have that sweet direct mount interface on it, but that doesn't mean you can just put anything on here you want. Sorry for all those people who've ever tried to put a Quark on one of these. And some people have said, hey, can I run a race face next crank on it? You can do that, but you've got to make sure to get back to that 55 millimeter chain line. And what you do is you're going to follow the example of this crank right here, which is the dub crank. And what you need is you need to buy the proper spindle to get to that length. Okay, see how that wouldn't work? For me to reuse that 6 millimeter offset chainring, you would need to get the proper spindle. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do it. I'm saying just generically, if you want to put a different crank in there, it ends up basically needs to have that 121 millimeter spindle measured from there to there, and then with a 6 millimeter offset ring, and then it would work. If it doesn't have that 55 millimeter chain line, 55 and a half, 56, you're okay. It will not work.